Hello. It's become relatively commonplace now to use video systems for making telephone calls, so that instead of just hearing somebody and speaking to them, you can see them and see where they're sitting, see the room they've chosen to call you from, see how the decorations are, look at the pictures. I find it quite interesting. It's quite a privilege also to see inside somebody's house when you're talking to them. But there was a letter in the Times, I think it was, just a few weeks back, of somebody complaining that the quality of cameras on computers isn't good enough to read the spines of the books in their bookcases. Maybe a little bit unkind, because it implies that the books would be more interesting than the person they're talking to. That's as may be. But it's an interesting reminder that we have more ways now perhaps than we ever used to have to present ourselves in different contexts, in novel settings, and perhaps to disguise in some way who we really are. Now, of course, we do that in all kinds of ways in life. But I think it's easy to forget sometimes that other people can often see right through the images we present and the manipulation we try to apply, and can see much more clearly who we really are, maybe more clearly than we can ourselves. The reading from Matthew's Gospel this Sunday is the parable of the wheat and the tares. Tares is another word for weeds. And the story is that a man sows a crop of wheat, but then as it grows, his servants come to tell him that there are weeds growing amongst the wheat, and they say, should we go and pull them up? And the man says, that the owner says, no, don't go to pull up the weeds. If you do that, you'll damage the good crop. Wait until we harvest it, and then we'll sort out the weeds and we'll get rid of those, and we'll keep the good crop for food. And I think it's a reminder that our lives are all of us, a mixture of good and bad. We all strive to avoid the bad and to cultivate the good. But often that's difficult. Maybe to go and pull out the weeds can be counterproductive, and we might damage some of the good in the process. People are, in my experience, I think sometimes not very good at forgiving themselves. And perhaps part of the message of this parable is that we should be more tolerant of who we are and forgiving of what we see in others as well as what we see in ourselves, to forgive ourselves as we do forgive others. At the end of the day, we're all a mixture of good and bad, and at the end of the day, we also all depend on and we pray for God's mercy and his help in taking the weeds and the bad stuff out of our lives and preserving the good harvest that we bring to him. However hard we try to manipulate the image we present to the world on Zoom video calls or in some other way, God is never going to be deceived, and neither probably are most other people. God in particular has a very good camera, and he's going to see past any smokescreen we might care to put up. Just a thought for the week. God bless.